So Last Epoch just dropped brand new information about the Sentinel Rework and Heartseeker, and we're about to go over all this information. It is in a forum, so I will leave the link to this in the description below if you guys want to read it for yourself. However, we're going to go over all the information right here in this video. If you guys like Last Epoch content, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And without further ado, I'm not going to waste your time. Jump right into it. Boy, oh boy, I am excited for this. All right, so starting off with detonating arrow, multi-shot, and hail of arrows, the marksman mastery covers area of effect style attacks fairly well. However, this has presented an opening for a skill featuring high single target damage. Introducing Heartseeker, launching a ranged projectile with the ability to recurve to the same target repeatedly. Heartseeker is highly capable to both hit the DOT style builds to bring high health targets to their knees. Becoming available with 30 points spent in the marksman tree, this puts Heartseeker beyond the chain lock, making this new skill exclusive to the marksman mastery. Yeah, that looks really sick, honestly. All right, so with the Heartseeker, you will find a new mechanic in Last Epoch, Recurve Chance. So this is a brand new mechanic they're introducing. Recurve works differently from other repeating attacks such as shield throws, ricochets, or shurikens pierces. In these examples, you will increase the number of effective hits with a flat increase such as +2 ricochets, whereas with Heartseeker, you'll have a recurve chance. Starting with the default 100% recurve chance, each time Heartseeker strikes an enemy, its recurve chance is multiplied by 0.8. This means at a baseline, it will always recurve once, an 80% chance for a second recurve, and a 64% chance for a third recurve, and so on, till it fails to roll within the remaining percentage chance. For example, with 125% recurve chance, it's guaranteed to recurve at least 2 times from the default one. And 157% recurve chance, it's guaranteed to recurve at least 3. One node in particular can allow a Heartseeker projectile to theoretically continually recurve until, till there's no more targets. Holy crap. So you could have an infinite recurve just going on, theoretically. All right, moving on to the specialization here, we've got, as with all skills in Last Epoch, Heartseeker comes with a full skill tree, allowing you to specialize the skill extensively. Not limited to simple number changes, you can change its behavior to emphasize the exact role you're looking for the skill. Focus on recurve chance to maximize the number of repeated hits, trigger puncture to share the love with other enemies, or a combination of everything above. And then they're showcasing the Shadow Weaver's Grasp here. Heartseeker now has a minimum chance to recurve. Its recurve chance can't be reduced below its minimum recurve chance, and the minimum recurve chance 66% here on this. With Shadow Weaver's Grasp, your recurve chance will never drop below 66%. This means every time Heartseeker strikes an enemy, there's a 66% chance that it will continue into another recurve, then another, with no limit to how many times Heartseeker can theoretically recurve. This makes for a fun node, those that like their odds. Then we have Arrow of Ravager. Heartseeker has an additional chance to recurve, and it deals more damage, multiplicative, other modifiers, but now has a cooldown. So recurve chance plus 50%, damage plus 50%, cooldown 3 seconds. Looking for a Heartseeker that's a bit more tactical in use rather than spam? Arrow of the Ravager offers a large amount of both recurve chance and damage multiplier at the cost of adding the cooldown to Heartseeker, which can be reduced with increased cooldown recovery speed behind this node. You'll also find nodes to provide additional changes and refresh to a charge when you pick up a black arrow. Very cool, very cool. We have Nimble Threads here. Nimble Threads, Heartseeker has an additional chance to recurve, scaling with dexterity. So recurve chance per dex. So you could get a 0.5% dex chance or recurve chance depending on the amount of dex. So with Nimble Threads, you'll be able to acquire a scaling source of recurve chance through stacking dexterity, a valuable attribute for almost any rogue. So you're obviously going to be running dex on a rogue, which means a lot more recurve chance. Then we have Heart Drain. How about turning Heartseeker into a generator and support skill? Stack a recurve chance with Heart Drain and quickly watch the mana and health roll in. Ooh, this could come in really handy in late game, maybe to like keep you, sustained. When directly used, Heartseeker arrows have a chance to grant mana and health on hit. Chance on hit is 25% per point, does not scale with points allocated. Then mana gain 1, health gain 10. Very cool. Then we have another one called Exposed. Heartseeker's hits have a chance to apply Frailty and shred enemy armor, but it no longer seeks new targets when the first target dies. We got Frailty chance, which is 100%, and armor shred chance at 100% as well, and it no longer seeks new targets, which risk versus reward there, I guess. You could take the hit with that. I think that it's really cool that you could have it recurve and bounce around though. So not being able to seek new targets, I don't know if that's a good idea. Then we have Straight Through. When Heartseeker's target dies, you shoot puncture at a nearby enemy for each recurve it would have triggered after the target died. Behind Exposed, you will also find the Straight Through, where Exposed focuses Heartseeker onto a single target. Straight Through makes sure any leftover recurves aren't left to waste, and are instead converted into punctures fired at nearby enemies. We have damage conversion here. Heartseeker is a physical bow attack by default. However, its tree offers options to convert to either fire or cold, each with its own scaling options. Okay, so with that, we have the Frozen Splinter here. Heartseeker penetrate additional cold resistance scaling with your cold overcapped resistance. Converting to cold damage will grant access to Frozen Splinter, granting scaling cold penetration based on overcapped cold damage. Okay, so overcapped cold damage, powerful with both hit and frostbite builds. Okay, you can never go wrong with the damage penetration. Being a scaling source means your equipment matters that much more to get the most out of this node. Okay, so it's going to really rely on what kind of gear you're running, and that's going to depend on what you pick here, whether you go cold, or I guess the next one is going to be fire here. So let's see what this says. The Dragon Fang. Alternatively, you can convert Heartseeker to fire and gain access to Dragon Fang, offering stacking added fire damage for bow and spell and throwing attacks. Dragon Fang is a buff rather than a skill modifier. This means all bow, spell, and throwing damage you deal will benefit from this added damage. Wow. However, be aware there's always the what if. Hold on. However, be aware only the highest recurve count matters. You can't simply stack attack speed to get the most out of this node. You need individual Heartseekers to recurve repeatedly to grant higher stack counts of Dragon Fang, potentially up to 20 stacks for a total of 80 added bow, spell, and throwing fire damage. Then we have the Ravager's Dart Helmet. Okay, speaking with throwing, let's not forget that the skill tree isn't the only way to modify a skill in Last Epoch. One of the new unique items you'll be able to find in Season 2 is the new Ravager's Dart Helm. This unique item fundamentally changes Heartseeker from a bow attack to a throwing attack and offers a number of bonuses at the cost of limiting you to one active Heartseeker at a time. Okay, very interesting. You also get +5 dex. You are limited to one active Heartseeker. Heartseeker now counts as a throwing skill and scales with throwing damage instead of bow damage. I'm really excited for Last Epoch, guys. Like, this update, they really went in on this. I'm so excited for this. Season 2 for Last Epoch, it's gonna be big. All right, so let's keep going here. Let's check this out because we're almost to the Sentinel Rework. Going even further beyond, of course, Heartseeker isn't limited to the above modifiers. You'll find other nodes within Heartseeker which allow you to consume shadows for extra Heartseeker attacks, have Heartseekers drop black arrows, and of course, nodes that offer bleed chance, poison chance, critical strike chance, and a multiplier, as well as other stacking recurve bonuses. In Season 2, the rogue comes to the party with a brand new way to make enemies feel the pain and fear the shadows. All right, moving on to the Sentinel Rework, because man, I'm excited for that too. Alongside the Heartseeker, a second rework and essentially new skill will be making its debut into Season 2 called the Volatile Reversal. This bears some reasoning as neither Sentinel nor the Volatile Reversal have been unpopular. In fact, Volatile Reversal has been very popular, but not for a good reason. The current version of Volatile Reversal offers very powerful global bonuses, and as such has been a mainstay in almost every Sentinel build. While having a supporting ability certainly isn't problematic, Volatile Reversal features a very unique mechanic, relocating the player back in time. The skill being used for its passive global bonuses rather than its mechanical effects. This left the skill in an unhealthy position where it felt necessary to many players due to the strength, yet at the same time it's often unfun or annoying to use as players just wanted the buffs and not to be moved back in time. So what did they do here? Because of all this, we've intended to rework Volatile Reversal for some time. However, with Sentinel being almost propped up by Volatile Reversal, reworking it to be a more individually interesting skill rather than a unfun support buff would leave many Sentinel options in too weak of a place. Thus, with Season 2, we're both reworking Volatile Reversal into a new skill with an entirely new skill tree and mechanics, as well as providing many buffs and changes across many Sentinel skills and passives to help Sentinels Eterra-wide stand on their own without leaning heavily on a single skill. Sounds very cool. Yeah. Talking about Volatile Reversal, here is the on screen. I'm going to be showcasing this combo ability that jumps forward in time to a target location and performs a melee attack on arrival. Recast within 3 seconds to jump backwards in time to your original location and perform a melee attack on arrival. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I like this. Use it once, you go forward, perform a melee attack on arrival, and then you within 3 seconds to jump backwards in time. So you have that time to jump backwards. I don't think you have to though. I don't know if you do. I don't know if you have to jump back. Rather than being a supporting spell, Volatile Reversal is making its grand reappearance as a melee traversal combo skill. As a 2-part combo skill, Volatile Reversal allows you to teleport into enemies, landing an area melee attack and allowing you to further follow up before reactivating the teleporting back in time to your original location. Or if you're happy with the engagement, simply don't you cannot. Oh my god, this is huge. I love it. I didn't even know they were going to do this, and now I've read it. Now it's, yes, we don't actually have to go back in time. We could just jump forward with the area melee attack and just keep going if we want to. Yes, yes, yes. Good traversal. This is going to be a good mobility like movement skill as well, I think. Oh, providing both engagement and disengagement in one skill. Volatile Reversal offers new engagement opportunities to Sentinels and new synergies and build options. While it may be noticed that the skill offers added void spell damage through vitality scaling, the skill only deals melee damage by default. And this vitality scaling is offered for optional spell-based sub-skills in the skill tree, becoming available with 5 points spent in the Void Knight tree. This places Volatile Reversal before the lock line, making it available to all Sentinels with the right invest. Oh, wow, yes. Okay, this is good. I love that. I love it, man. I can't wait. I'm definitely playing Sentinel. Just letting you guys know I'm playing Sentinel. And if you guys want to see my Sentinel build, it'll be here on this channel, so make sure to come back and check it out. Volatile Reversal also offers its full skill tree to customize how you want to utilize it in your build. Make it a high damage engagement option, maximize its traversal potential, or support other skills to further expand their potential. The Nether Convergence. You jump forwards in time, all your devouring orbs are pulled towards you and trigger a void rift. The Volatile Reversal costs additional mana. Okay. It's always the risk versus reward, right? Like you gotta sacrifice something. All right, see here. Nether Convergence, Volatile Reversal supports your devouring orbs by pulling them toward you every time you jump forward. Why cast new devouring orbs? You have perfectly good orbs on the field already. Bring them along for the trip. Bring them along. Oh, I love that. While Nether Convergence pulls your devouring orbs along with you, Accelerationist or Eternal Banquet can either cause your orbs to expire earlier or last longer at will, augmenting how you built devouring orb. Future Focus. All right, so Volatile Reversal's second combo ability now jumps you forward in time to the target location instead of backwards. Does your Sentinel only look into the future? Oh man, I love this. I love whoever wrote this, man. It's really good. Does your Sentinel only look in the future? With Future Focus, the second activation of Volatile Reversal will now send you forward a second time. Ladies and gentlemen, Future Focus. We got to get Future Focus. This is going to be a big player, I think. This is going to be huge. I think Future Focus is going to be part of a lot of the builds. just because of the movement and traversal. So that's cool, man. I'm really liking that, but it does come with a longer cooldown, unfortunately. So I don't know, man. We'll see how that goes. Might just stick with one and done. Keep the quick cooldown. See how it plays out. All right, we have reclaimed action, which when you travel at least 4 meters by jumping through time, your next direct melee attack or spell is guaranteed to echo if it is available to. Okay, echo. Okay, let's get some more information on this. What's a Void Knight without echoes? Reclaimed action guarantees your next direct melee attack or spell echoes so long as you've traveled at least 4 meters. A great addition with any heavy hitting build to really bring the pain with the initial engagement. I like that. Moving on, we have Void Bolts. As mentioned earlier, Volatile Reversal can now also be specialized towards spell damage. You can do this in Void Bolts with both Incipient Void Bolt and Terminal Void Bolt. These options will launch a set of 3 Void Bolts at the start of movement and into barrage enemies with void damage. Then we have Returning Corruption. Added Returning Corruption to cause all Void Bolts to return and double down on the delivery. These nodes apply to each activation of Volatile Reversal, meaning if you pick up both Incipient and Terminal Void Bolts, you'll trigger a total of 6 projectiles per cooldown. Holding the line, of course, there's always the option of specializing in the Volatile Reversal into more of a support role with Warped Time and Phased Reality. You can gain powerful buffs after jumping into the fray, for so long as you hold off on jumping back out. Then we have Anchored Timeline. Perhaps you'd rather have Volatile Reversal as more of an offensive ability with a shorter cooldown. At the cost of making this skill less mobile, you'll be able to cut the base cooldown in half and remove the traversal tag, allowing for much more frequent use, particularly when stacked with additional sources of increased cooldown recovery speed, and more. In addition to the mentioned nodes, you'll also find options that allow you to convert Volatile Reversal to fire damage, grant Void Essence, trigger Abyssal Echoes, and increase the damage options for Volatile Reversal itself. The new Volatile Reversal offers a completely new playstyle option and many new build opportunities with it, I do agree. Just from reading over this character, the Sentinel Rework, this is going to be a very, very fun character now. Not that it wasn't before, but now it's going to be like absolutely insane. I got to play it. This is the first, I'm playing Sentinel on the first day. Now some of the Sentinel changes. While Volatile Reversal may have the spotlight for the Sentinel Rework, as mentioned, there's a whole lot of other changes coming to the class with this update in both skills and passives. So let's start taking a look at some of these with one of the more significant changes, Symbols of Hope. But wait, isn't the skill called Sigils of Hope? Not in Season 2. In the future, we will be adding the Sigils system, which left a bit of confusion with the skill. With the mechanical changes, we felt there was no better opportunity to resolve that confusion with a small name change. Mechanical change, not so small. Every 2 seconds, summons a symbol that orbits you, causing you and your allies' attacks and abilities to deal 3 additional fire damage, and increasing health regeneration by 20%. Activate to consume the symbols, granting 100 ward and 5% less damage taken per symbol for 3 seconds. You can have up to 3 symbols at a time. Like Volatile Reversal, Sigils of Hope often become an annoying factor as a buff skill that required regular activation to maintain passive bonuses. So you'd have to keep, reactivating this to, get those passive bonuses. That is annoying. I have to agree. It ended up either being an interruption to play without a fun effect or simply being an autocast. Rather than gaining a sigil upon using the ability, the change to Symbols of Hope now causes the player to gain symbols passively over time while activating the skill will consume the symbols for a significant temporary oh my god, yes. Yo, Last Epoch, you guys are doing it, man. Let's go. That is big changes, but amazing. Thank you. Like, huge changes here, man. While not a fully reworked skill like Volatile Reversal, you'll still find many differences in the new Symbols of Hope tree, including a changed Divine Flare branch, ward generation, and new passive bonuses such as increased critical strike chance. Orient Sun Seal. Alright, so we have some new items here. This is a unique gold ring. Of course, passively generating sigils was previously the domain of the unique item Orient Sun Seal. This leaves many asking, what does this unique even do now? The answer is, it is now going to increase the rate you passively gain symbols and offers a circuit breaker activating Symbols of Hope when you're left below the endurance threshold to automatically consume current symbols for defensive and offensive bonuses. Then we have Time Rot. Boiled down, Time Rot is now a viable build path for the Void Knight. Time Rot is an ailment that deals 60 void damage over time, increases stun duration by 5%, and it lasts 3 seconds and stacks up to 12 times. While most ailments depend on achieving as high of a stack count as possible, don't let that dissuade you from the new Time Rot. With many new sources being able to reliably apply to Time Rot and newly available augmenting passives for Time Rot, such as the extremely powerful Void Knight Rot Grip passive, Time Rot offers other routes for scaling than just stat count. So, your hits have a chance to inflict enemies with Time Rot. Additionally, Time Rot deals more damage per 1% global chance to slow with Void skills, more damage per 1% global Time Rot chance with Void skills, and more damage per 1% increased melee attack, throwing, or cast speed, whichever is lowest, all multiplicative with each other and with all other modifiers. Now on to the passive changes, ladies and gentlemen. So we're talking about a bunch of passive changes now. With the Sentinel Rework, a total of 65 passives have been changed between all masteries. For the full details, you'll have to wait for the patch notes on the 11th. So yeah, we have a confirmation that the patch notes will be coming on the 11th of April. But for today, we're going to be covering just some of the bigger new or changed nodes. Almost all of these passive changes are in the Void Knight and Paladin, with Forge Guard recently getting attention. Forge Guard is still getting a very impactful new passive in Forge Master's Might. All right, so let's check out Forge Master's Might here. This is the first one. With Momentum of Protection, they introduced a new dual-wielding shields option. The next logical step was wielding a two-handed weapon with a shield. While no current characters have 4 arms to dual-wield two-handed weapons, we do feel the Forge Guard mastery of weapons gives them enough of an edge to efficiently wield one with a single hand. You can equip a shield alongside a two-handed axe, mace. Oh my god, yes! Yo, big, man, this is good. That is cool. While you have a two-handed weapon and a shield equipped, you and your minions deal less damage and have less attack and cast speed, and haste grants you block chance instead of increased movement speed. Oh man. And I tell you what, the sacrifices of having really two-handed weapons and a shield, right? that's gonna hurt a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe we could make a build that works out and it'll fight back with all the less damage. All right, next up we have the Sword of Rai. Sword of Rai. This Paladin capstone node found at the end of the passive tree now offers power to warrant its position as one of the final Paladin passive nodes. Not only offering a significant amount of melee ignite chance per point, it offers a threshold bonus granting a major boost to all ignite damage when you activate Holy Aura. Next up is Holy Precision. Holy Precision is a node which currently offers a lot of power but is limited to lightning damage, greatly limiting its applicability. While the values of the node have been adjusted, its effects are now much more universal and the benefits offered are still nothing to sneeze at, offering added critical strike chance with its threshold bonus. Then we have Woe. In theme with the Void Knight, the adjusted Woe node offers a threshold bonus with slow and frailty chance. Combine this with the Altered Dread form passive, which reduces slowing effects on you, and you'll have a much greater mastery over the passage of time for yourself and your enemies. Abyssal Fluctuation. You deal 0 damage while you're dead. Abyssal Fluctuation offers a powerful and thematic method of damage reduction for the Void Knight, converting up to 50% of elemental damage taken to void damage taken, and reducing all void damage taken, including the converted damage. Bunch of damage reduction there, okay? Then we have skill changes. Moving on to skill changes. All right, so now we're moving on to the skill changes that are coming with this. The Sentinel is also receiving changes to 22 of its 26 skills. As with passives, you'll have to wait for those patch notes to be coming. And then, like I said earlier, the patch notes are coming on the 11th, and I will be covering them. Let's start with Devouring Orb. Devouring Orb has received an adjustment to its base functionality, now passively dealing void damage over time to enemies within its area of effect. This change helps Devouring Orb in more of a primary skill role, less dependent on other skills to trigger rifts. Inside the skill tree, you'll find many changes and even some entirely new nodes, two to note being the All-Consuming node and the reworked Abyssal Rush node. Nice. While we're moving, you automatically cast Devouring Orb if it is not on cooldown and you have enough mana. This effect puts Devouring Orb on cooldown. All-Consuming when you directly cast non-orbiting Devouring Orb within the area of an existing Devouring Orb. The new orb consumes all existing orbs to deal more damage in a larger area, both multiplicative with the other modifiers per orb consumed. However, the new orb also deals less ailment damage per orb consumed. Javelin. While Javelin has had its added damage effectiveness increased to 250% from 200, the biggest changes for Javelin can be found in its skill tree nodes. This includes Divine Fury no longer being incompatible with Siege Barrage. Both nodes allocated each Javelin that rains down will create lightning spears. In addition, many nodes have received adjustments to provide more power to the Javelin builds, as well as compensate for the volatile reversal changes. We have Warrior's Mark and Monster Piercer. Javelin hits have a chance to apply Frailty per point of strength and a chance to shred enemy physical resistances per point of dexterity. We also have this Monster Piercer. Javelin hits deal more damage, multiplicative with other modifiers, and this effect is doubled against enemies on high health. Then we have Multi-Strike. Multi-Strike is also receiving a number of numerical adjustments, along with one very big new node. Blade Storm, your additional swords are able to consume mana and in exchange strike the same enemy. This makes Multi-Strike far more formidable against individual targets. So this is really going to increase their single target damage. If you can sustain the cost, Multi-Strike has also received a buff to its hitbox, making landing those primary hits feel much smoother. So we have Blade Storm. You create more additional swords than there are nearby enemies. Each remaining sword can consume mana to strike the nearest enemy, even if it was hit by the initial attack. Shield Throw. So Shield Throw is an ability that previously required a number of passive points to get it up and running as a primary skill. This is largely because of the long cooldown, which required a non-insignificant number of skill points to remove. Considering this was the style that was generally preferred for the skill, we've adjusted its base functionality to reflect this, moving the initial cooldown and reducing the cost. While it still requires the shield to return before throwing out a new shield, it now only costs a single skill point in the first ring of the tree to remove that restriction. Alternatively, you can add a cooldown to the skill and further specialize it to be able to ricochet to yourself and grant additional benefits with that. These changes free up skill points and combined with the other node changes throughout Shield Throw make it a much smoother and more formidable skill. We have Smelter's Wrath. Smelter's Wrath is receiving some fairly significant number changes and an important mechanical change. While many nodes on this tree are receiving some love and added damage effectiveness of Smelter's Wrath is being increased to 600% from 450. Holy moly, that's a big increase. I like that. Mechanically, Smelter's Wrath is being changed to now grant more damage based on charge up to 100% more damage at maximum charge, from 50% more hit damage per second spent charging. This means that reducing your charge time will no longer reduce the benefit received from this effect. Effects in the tree for each second channeled remain unchanged. The last skill that we'll be touching on today is Vengeance. With 28 lines of patch notes just for Vengeance skill tree changes, Vengeance has a new outlook on life in Season 2. This includes changes to Iron Blade, offering a way to get it to 100% chance on both Vengeance and riposte hits, or weapon generation and full fire and void conversion options, while keeping its highly defensive strengths. Like Multi-Strike, its base hitbox has been increased to help make striking with the attack feel smoother and more forgiving. We have Abyssal Retribution and Winged Steel here. Next, Void Cleave or Erasing Strike deal more damage, multiplicative with other modifiers after you use the hit with Vengeance. Then we also have Iron Blade travels faster, causing it to also travel further. Additionally, Vengeance and Riposte hits have a chance to attack with the Iron Blade per point of attunement up to a maximum. All right, very nice. And that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen, for the new Sentinel rework and the Heartseeker changes coming in season 2 of Tombs of the Erased for Last Epoch. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about these really cool changes coming to Last Epoch. I'm really excited for the Sentinel rework. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up for me and subscribe. And on the 11th, look out for those patch notes. I'm going to be posting that video. And until next time, travelers, I will see you later.